That's BABERS here in the PNC Live Studio. Thank you all so much for being here today.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah.
This is so nice.
That first track that you played is Winter Spirit, and I feel like one of my favorite things about BABERS live shows is that you can feel the infectious energy that is so positive. It feels like you guys are always having so much fun during the live shows, just lots of smiles exchanged on stage, whether microphones are falling out of their place, and just kind of, making the best of things. So can you just talk to me about, and the crowd here, just about, the spirit maybe that BABERS is built upon, and where that positivity comes from?
Ah, yes. The spirit of BABERS.
Yeah, I think it was something I think we had like a moment of reckoning on. I think it's really easy to just grind when you do this, and
It was stressful for a good couple years.
yeah, and I think we just kind of figured out it's like it's not good if like during a show you're stressed and after a show you're stressed and before a show. So
We actively choose joy.
yeah, and I think we try to be really serious in like a rehearsal setting. And then I think like our pep talk before a show is always like, okay, and now it's just fun, like no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some of that comes from going to a lot of shows too. And when you see someone like pursuing a dream, it should be like this really joyful thing. But if you see someone like just oozing bitterness, it's so sad.
It's way less fun.
Yeah. And so it's like, okay, I think like that's what makes us want to do this, is like the joy of it. And we want to transfer that, and like that I think is like the centering principle at this point, is like it has to be fun, like, or else we should just have a different job.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, Matt here is somebody that reminded me that like this is supposed to be fun. This is something we've
he writes
talked
it on
about
his
before.
set list every time, I think.
This is supposed to be fun. I have to remember that.
Yeah, no,
while I'm doing things like this.
It's easy to forget that like this is what we want to do.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, you talked about kind of with that Empty Light track, just acknowledging being grinded down and maybe not addressing things before you hit that empty light. So like, what is it like maybe checking in and finding ways to be better with that?
For sure. I mean, I feel like this year has been definitely more like downtime. And it's been pretty intentionally like where we're not saying yes to everything, and like all of those.
Yeah,
like,
I think like
kind of
managing your
basic
yeses.
things, yeah, has been like very important, especially just to keep it fun, to keep it,
Yeah, and I think like we are actively viewing like this time as like a creative time, and we've been recording, and we've been mostly like we've been playing live shows, but we haven't been touring as aggressively, and so because we know that season's coming, and so I think it's like letting us slot it as like this is rest. We need rest so that we can like go really hard, and like I think even for like social media stuff is like so exhausting to post all the time, and so we haven't been like, I think we're kind of in a non-content cycle, just like revving up for when it's time so that we can actually have the energy to do it.
Mm-hmm. So then we can be like, yes, post 40 times a day.
Yeah, watch out, it's coming. But yeah, and I think we just I think it's also, I think this is still answering the question of just like celebrating things as they happen, and because like it's really easy to move the line all the time on yourself, and so I think like we celebrate after every show, like just little things like that I think have changed it hugely for us.
They celebrate with hot dogs.
Yeah, we go get a hot dog.
There's a
after
tradition
every
in
single
this
show.
band to go get hot dogs after the show.
Yeah.
So they'll be at Donning Vegas after this.
Yes, that's
Don't be, come on, Dan. Don't out us like that.
sponsored by
Blowing
Donny
up your
Vegas.
spot,
It's the spot.
Yeah. Well, last year was such a big year for BABERS. 2023, you played, I would say, some of Portland's most iconic music venues, including the Doug Fir, the original location, Mississippi Studios a couple times, and got to play the Crystal Ballroom as well. Can you talk about just what that's done for the confidence of this band in the live setting?
So last year at the beginning of the year, we decided we were only going to play new music. So we like completely stepped away from our album that we had put out in 2020, and we're like, we're just going to do a bunch of new stuff, which is really scary. But then our whole time in Portland has been new music. So I feel like that's helped us like step into this next chapter of music for us. And yeah, I think it's been insane. I think like we've just been like laughing about, I think we've been mostly like in disbelief, like when those kind of opportunities come up.
Yeah.
Cause I think like Crystal Ballroom was one that like wasn't even on the bucket list.
No, not for last year. No.
Yeah. Like I just like don't know that we were dreaming of that. And then, for that to be the cherry on the top of our year was really special. And we were opening for the Beaches, and like, it was just the most fun room, the most fun night. Dana was actually supposed to be home for the holidays, but we're like, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I think we had 2 days to prep, and so hit these guys up, and they both luckily were able to do it. And it was just, yeah, I think this scene has been really welcoming to us. We had started in LA, and we moved up in 2020, and it's just been like amazing. And
yeah, the Portland music community is incredible. It's just some of our like closest friends now, honestly.
Yeah.
I know you guys are working on some new music right now, finishing up a new record, and Lisa actually engineers a lot of the music that is coming out of BABERS, which is also a special dynamic of this thing. But when you think about the new music and where this band is at now in comparison to maybe when you started back in LA, and just all the growth that's taken place, where do you recognize the most growth, and what is maybe attributed to you all just kind of keep going and continuing to put music out together?
I think the wildest thing was that going into the last record, Dana wasn't a part of it yet when those songs were being written. And it kind of was like the continuation of a solo project for me. And then we met and started singing together, and that just changed the shape of everything. And so we started singing together, and like very quickly became co-leads instead of like Dana on harmonies. It just fit really naturally. And so this time I feel like we're writing more with that in mind. And also I think we wanted to bring more fun energy. So I think like the music we're playing is more, I don't know, the show that we want to be at.
Yeah.
We were like maybe a little sleepier, vibier before.
Yeah. And we also, I mean, we had talked like maybe a year to a year and a half ago. I think we'd maybe just played like Alberta Street Pub or something like that. And after the show, when we were eating our celebratory hot dogs,
that was the first time.
Lisa was like, okay, so what if this is it? What if we only play like small venues, and you know, like what if this is as big as it gets? What if this is the most that we're doing? Do you still want to do this? And it was like 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think us both being like all on board for that, then like made everything else gravy. And so I think that's why like our attitude is really good, because I don't think we're just chasing things, but then more has happened since we relaxed into it.
Since we surrendered.
we're like, okay, we don't need to do anything big. Like bigger things have happened consistently, and so there's something funny there.
Yeah. Dana, do you feel like your attachment to these newer songs is even stronger since you have been a part of them from the ground up this time, rather than just jumping into the project?
Yeah, I mean, yes, but we sang those songs for so long. Like we really like.
So you're attached to those.
So I would say I'm attached to but it does feel like 1.0, 2.0 in a lot of ways. I even think that's like location, lineup, like all of the factors that are a part of it, where it's like I do just have a heavier hand than I did.
And I feel like also like we've been friends for almost 10 years. And so like, I feel like the songs, like you were like a sounding board in like the situations around them, or they're like experiences that we had. And so, yeah, it's like, I think that is just, way more intertwined. And like, also I think it's fun to shout out, like when Dana first started playing with me, before it was BABERS, before any of that, like Dana was new to like electric guitar, and then now has been playing it for like forever. Like it's just like, so much has changed over that time, and like I feel like So Dana's like so huge in all of it, and it's really fun to like see how songs settle in. Like we just both try them out, and everything kind of finds their place.
Right on. Well, thank you so much for being here. It's been such a pleasure to get to know y'all the last year. You're always people I love seeing around town, and yeah, just a band that I love so much, and I think you're such great songwriters. So thanks for being here. Make some noise for BABERS. They're going to play a couple more songs for
Thank you
us
so much, Dan.
here in the
Thank you so
PNC
much,
Live
Dan.
Studio, and thanks to KINK for letting us showcase the local music here in Portland.